Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Chris Botelho. I'm a solutions engineer here at LimaCharlie. And today we're going to be discussing our new endpoint protection integration that we have recently built out that in particular interacts with and integrates with Microsoft Defender. We've done this to speed up the event detection and response capabilities, but also to give our customers the ability to manage endpoints from a centralized location, which is something that historically Microsoft has charged a premium for. So everything I'm going to show you can actually be done with Microsoft Defender free, the stuff that's built into almost all the Microsoft platforms these days. Now, I promise this isn't going to be death by PowerPoint. I've only had a couple of slides, and then I'm going to show you a demo. But for anyone that's not aware, LimaCharlie, we refer to it as a box of Lego, where you can kind of pick and choose and build out your platform however you want to. In particular, for what I'm going to be discussing, this is really going to be focused on the EDR, so that the endpoint detection response and endpoint protection. But I do want to point out that one of the things that's just inherent with this integration is all the data is going to be stored for a year within our log retention platform. And that's a year online. Microsoft is going to charge you a lot extra to keep that data available. We're going to, just by default, because that's what we do as part of our platform, is store it for 1 year, 365 days. Great for things like PCI compliance. So just kind of keep that in mind as we're going through all this. Now, initially, the whole idea was we want to integrate a little bit deeper with Microsoft Defender. So we've historically always worked really well alongside endpoint protection platforms, but we wanted to not just work well alongside them, but also integrate with them. Because if you think about it, Microsoft has billions and billions of data points, and they've got telemetry coming in from all over the world, things that we can't match. What we're really good at is getting that deep telemetry from the host, seeing what's going on. Not just, hey, something happened. It's, hey, something happened, and here's everything else that happened with it. But the most, for what most of us are going to see every day, is going to be kind of your generic malware, your malicious code that endpoint protection has seen a million times and is going to just wipe it out, quarantine it, delete it, whatever, and maybe open up a ticket and then just go about its business. We're not going to worry about it because there are signatures for it and everything else. These are your vendors like CrowdStrike and SentinelOne and Microsoft Defender, that they have all these data points. But what if we could not only just integrate with it, but what if we could actually ingest the data and adjust those events faster than they could? And so that's kind of where all this came about, is we want to know what's going on at endpoint. We also want to know what gets stopped, but we want to be able to alert on it and build out those responses even faster than the vendors can. And so when we started building this out, we actually realized that Microsoft with Defender events can take minutes to hours for that event to be generated and then go into the platform. Obviously, if you think about how malware works these days, hours is a big deal, especially ransomware. Even minutes, it changes a lot of things now. Ransomware doesn't take hours to infect a system. It does 5-10 minutes. And so what we found was, with the integration that we built, you can actually start responding to alerts as soon as they happen. And so you can kick off scripts, you can kick off your whole automation plan, really just kind of run through things before the alert is even generated in Microsoft's own console. And so that's kind of what I'm going to talk about, and what I'm going to demonstrate to everybody. So just starting off with of what's new. These are kind of the new features, new things that come with this endpoint protection integration that we've built out. Obviously, one of the cool things is you have the ability to view the endpoint protection status, and I'll show that in the demo as well. But you'll be able to see things like, it is anti-malware running, is real-time protection running, are you doing scans, all your really basic information about the host's security protection. You also get the ability to manage exclusions. So add and remove exclusions, say, hey, I don't want to scan this directory, or I do want to scan it. You can view the quarantine folder to see if something has been captured. You also, if you want to go into a host and it's running our EDR agent, you can go in and scan files and folders right from the GUI. And then with all this, the telemetry is great and all, but if you don't have those detection and response rules, then it's kind of meaningless. So we do give some basic detection rules, and you can actually build out the response actions as you want to. And all this is available through the endpoint protection extension. There's no additional cost to it because this is all going through Microsoft Defender free. You actually are able to do this without incurring any costs on your side from Microsoft or from us. It's all kind of built into the platform, and all you have to do is subscribe your organization to it. All right. So I promised there weren't going to be a bunch of slides, and that's it. So now let's kind of go into the demo. So I'm here within my LimaCharlie organization. And if you want to enable this, I'll just quickly show you how to do it. All you do is you go to add-ons, and then you go to this ext-epp add-on, and you would click subscribe. Obviously, I'm already subscribed, and it's already available to me, but this is what's going to actually give you those endpoint protection rules that you can use later on. So now that we have that extension enabled, I'll show you real quick. You can see here that we actually have the rules available to us. These are just your basic detection rules. They're going to look for things like, was malware detected and blocked? Was malware prevented? What actions were taken? One of the other cool things too is, were any changes made on the system? Was Defender disabled? Was real-time protection disabled? All the really additional information that you want to get from host to see what's going on, we fire and trigger on that now. Now, if you go into your sensors, we can actually go and look on our Windows server. And when you log into it, the first thing you see is kind of the overview. You can actually click here and get a full information of all the status of antivirus and the endpoint protection. So how is everything configured on that system itself? You can see things like, what was the last full quick scan? Is a reboot required? And things like, is tamper protection enabled? So has someone turned that off? Indications that maybe there's something going on in the system. Now, the information is great, but what can we actually do with that? So we'll go into detections. And remember I had mentioned before, we had some rules that were built into the platform that come with the extension. And now you can actually see that I've run a couple of tests using the ICAR file. And for anyone that's not familiar with ICAR, it's EICAR. All it is a test file that most, if not all, antivirus vendors will trigger off of. The great thing is you can test your anti-malware and your antivirus capabilities without putting actual malicious stuff on your system. So I load the ICAR file, and you can see here that it actually triggers. So we see that I tried to download the file. All the information that is available from that alert is available within the LimaCharlie console. Now with this, because I do have those detection and response rules, if I want to trigger additional actions afterwards, I can do that too. I can do things like isolate the host. I can scan the file that was downloaded. If we want to do additional scans on it, I can scan the entire file system. Anything you want to do afterwards as kind of response and remediation actions, you have that ability to do. And again, the cool thing is all this is happening at near real-time speed. So if you look, you see that this was actually generated at 4:44 a.m. Now, this is when the alert was generated within LimaCharlie. If I go in and I actually look at when the alert was generated within Microsoft Defender, is at 4:44. That's how quick this is. So this was 4:44:52. We got it less than 1 second later. Again, going back to what I mentioned before, we were seeing anywhere from minutes to hours for events to show up in the Microsoft console. We're getting it this was a second. The great thing is, that means that within that 1 second period, You're not only detecting it, but you can build out those response actions. So before it even has time to get sent to the cloud or to take additional actions on the system, you're able to quarantine it, get that system off your network. If you want to start doing things like incident response and investigations on it, you can do that as well. Now, I had also mentioned the ability to actually manage the systems. So if you go into the file system, you can actually go through, browse the file system, find a file that you're curious about that you want to scan. So let's see if I have anything. We'll just scan desktop IM. And you can see right there with a couple of clicks of the button, I'm now able to scan that file with Microsoft Defender. I can go to the console and just type EPP status. I can see what's in, what the status is of the endpoint protection. You can also list the quarantine, list your exclusions. So if I have any exclusions on the host, I can list those out. Obviously, I don't at this time. If I want to actually add exclusions, I can do that as well. And say, I don't want you to scan this file. I don't want you to scan this directory. I want you to do exactly what I want. Because of our infrastructure as code, you're able to really kind of do this at scale. So you can build this out and have all of the hosts within your organization or within the company itself as have these same exclusions, so distribute them. You also get the ability to just scan files directly from the console. If you know that there's something malicious there, you want to scan it, you can do that as well. And then finally, again, I go back to the detections. You are getting this a lot faster than you would get it from Microsoft itself. So you're seeing that this malware was prevented, and you're able to respond to it and act within really, really quick time frame. So yeah, so those are kind of the big things that we've done with Microsoft Defender. We do plan to do it with like Sentinel-1 and expanding this, and really giving our users, our clients, our customers, the ability to do that deep integration, that deep telemetry within the host. The last thing I want to talk about is we are taking our show on the road, and we do have a lot of events coming up. So by the time right now, we're actually first in Denmark. So if you're out at first, come see us, come say hi. We also have the Defenders Tour coming up in September, up in Washington. We're going to be at B-Sides Canberra for the actual B-Sides conference. And then while we're down there, we're going to do a Defenders Tour as well. So that's going to be in Sydney. And then we're going to be out in Arlington, so in the DC area, to kind of go, demo what's going on with LimaCharlie as well. So if you're in any of these areas, please come join us, and look forward to talking with everyone. Thank you.